Welcome back to another episode of Global Card Collectors. Today we have a special guest. They are all special, but I'm really excited to talk to Pablo today. He comes to me via a new friend I've made in the hobby through Global Card Collectors, John at Eurofractor. He said, you have to talk to Pablo. Pablo can be found on Instagram at Gasol Collector. So we'll dive right into the interview now. But how you doing, Pablo, today?
Thank you, and thanks for welcoming me here, Jon. I mean, it's a pleasure to be with you. Really excited, honestly, to be on this podcast. Probably, I guess one of the first one that I joined, alone on this kind of meeting. So really excited to have this time with you.
So you've been on some group podcasts then, you say?
No, I mean just with some friends, in this kind
Yeah.
of like meetings or podcasts or small like meetings that we had, but not joining like as a particular one,
Okay.
as a collector to talk about my background on the collections.
Well, we are a humble podcast
Yeah,
at Global Card Collectors. We're not, trying to influence the world or anything. We're just having a good time mostly. But
that's right.
super glad to have you on. Where in the world do we find you?
I'm from Bilbao in the north part of Spain, same as our friend John. So yeah, I mean, living abroad for a few years before in different countries in Europe, but base and origin from Bilbao.
Very good, very good. And Pablo just had his first child, and he's a few months in. So, we were going to do this a few months ago even, but
Yeah, correct. New
understandable
job,
reasons we had
new
to wait a
job,
little bit.
and tough time, to mark in the agenda and to save some time. So yeah, but I mean, really, really glad to be here.
So we're glad to have him. And so Pablo is I don't know. We'll get into it, but to me, he has just an outstanding collection of Pau Gasol cards. Um, Particularly maybe for me because I'm into the 2000s,
Hmm.
especially the first half of the 2000s. Um, this really runs with some of the great Topps Chrome, Topps Finest sets, and more. So we're going to dive into his collection. But first, I just want to get a sense of how long have you been in the hobby? How did it start, kind of thing?
I think as I mean not most but like a big part of the people that I know here in Spain and a few others in Europe. I started, I don't know, like maybe like 20 years ago, more or less, when I was teenager, 16, 17 years old. I'm like passionate about basketball, so everything related to basketball, I was like following like even like EuroLeague, Spanish ACB, I mean everything, that is related to basketball. Then my cousin started collecting, connected to these small forums that were in France, BTC, basket trading cards. So I started with him. He passed this passion, about collecting. And then probably when I started the university and maybe I think I got like different hobbies probably, and I was like getting, I mean, not older, obviously, because I was like 25, 23, I stopped collecting there. That was, I guess, as well the break on the late 20s, with all Fleer, Upper Deck, that lost the license. So I more or less I stopped there collecting. So yeah, and now I started back like what, like 7 years ago, eight more or less. Yeah, more or less.
What
So really into that.
what brought you back into it?
But that's quite weird. Probably this time, when because I was, as I said, I was living abroad. I got back home, obviously, first of all to my parents' home. And I guess that looking for my stuff, and looking for my teenager child boxes, I found back all these cards, everything that I was collecting as well, basketball jerseys as well, So I was like this time when I said, okay, why not, And I told you before as well, it was quite particular situation with my friend John, that we were like basketball teammates for years and years, and when even we separate our directions, on the team, we talk on online, like, hey, are you this guy that is collecting in this city? Because it's quite random as well, not to call, because maybe in Bilbao, I don't know. I mean, now obviously the market is huge, but like 15 years ago, I I do think that not more than probably 15, 20 people were collecting trading cards, not only basketball. So it was pretty funny when we found each other, that we were collecting since probably our teenager time. So yeah, I mean, quite funny situation that I think connected us even more as well to the hobby. So yeah,
Yeah, that I think that's so funny. I mean, you guys are
it
like
is
it's like you're you were just meant to be together. So,
correct, correct. Because even myself and himself, we were like changing teams. I mean, not constantly, but like few times. So we some years we lost a bit the connection between each other. And now it's like not to. I mean, I guess my girlfriend won't listen and see this podcast, but I mean, I'm super connected to him, same as to my girlfriend probably. So yeah, super funny situation.
yeah, I mean, I have a I have a really good friend here, and we talk a lot. And I call him my mistress. Does your wife get jealous of John at all?
Most probably the same.
Yeah, right on. Where were you before you came home? You said you were abroad.
I was living in the UK, job related situation that was like moving in different countries in Europe. So I was like in Italy for a year and a half, England 2 years. So pretty much like moving all around in some different cities as well in Spain, South Portugal. I mean, quite nomad job that I had but I mean, it's the same job but different role actually. So good that I can be based at home, and grow up with my friends, family again. So
Yeah.
super nice, but quite nice experience as well, to have on my back and to save for the life living abroad. I mean, mixing cultures, meeting super great people from different countries, different cultures. As I said, I mean, at least for me, it gives like a special gift, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think, there's some French saying like, I forget how it goes, but the journey forms you in English. In English, I know
Correct.
that's what it
Correct.
would.
Exactly.
That's how
Hmm.
it goes. I can't remember the French. But well, today we're gonna talk about someone who also uprooted himself quite a
Hmm.
bit to play basketball in the US. As I've already mentioned,
Hmm.
Pau Gasol is your guy.
Hmm.
Uh, since when? How did you become a Pau guy, I guess?
It's as well like quite funny history behind because my favorite player of basketball in Europe, I mean, I would say no, I'm like 100% sure that it's Dirk Nowitski. Okay, I mean, I grew up on his starting, on early 20s, with the Mavericks, getting to the playoffs, but not getting really far on that, but doing like huge, super good regular seasons. So my guy was Dirk Nowitski in the beginning, and I was like starting collecting like base, inserts, some jerseys, but obviously back in the days, when I started collecting with 14, 15 years old, I did not have like the money to go to really nice cards, of Dirk Nowitzki. So at the beginning, it was just like matter of money. Like say, okay, there is this new guy from Spain, that it's like breaking as well in the NBA. At the beginning, obviously, and even now, it's way cheaper than Dirk Nowitzki. So I said, okay, let's jump to collect, Pau Gasol. I had the chance to get some nice jerseys, some nice autographs as well, like rookie cards, from him. So as well, it was like connecting, like, okay, my collection is growing up in terms of quality, let's say, okay, and as well, I can afford it, So immediately I sold everything that I had from Dirk Nowitzki, mainly bases, inserts, and few rookie cards, nothing big, so I turned to Pau Gasol directly. That's the reason, probably poor reason, let's say. But then after, it was like my passion to collect, and then obviously everything that he commit, and he got in the NBA with the FIBA as well, national team. So I mean, it turns up, let's say like 50 to 50, with Dirk Nowitzki to myself as the favorite players, I would say. Yeah. I mean, also, we grow up, checking them their matches between them, all the confrontations that they had in the court, how big both of them were, in completely different way of players. But in terms of challenges and accomplishment that both get on the NBA and as well on the FIBA national teams, I mean, I think they got us completely in love watching them together, you know?
I never appreciated that. That's interesting that they, seeing them go head to head was so
Hmm.
captivating back then.
Hmm.
I mean, there was a game I think last summer with Giannis and Jokic,
Hmm.
which it wasn't even, it didn't even
Friends
count,
or.
but
Hmm.
it was a good, it was a lot of fun. So I
Hmm.
wish we had more of that. That sounds really exciting.
Definitely, definitely.
So this is, I guess, 2001, 2002 when you started?
More or less, yeah, more or less. When I started with the first rookie cards of him, collecting, and as I said, it was, let's say, easy because as well the market from Pau Gasol comparing, because in Europe you could imagine, all the Germans weren't crazy, with Dirk Nowitski, so as well the value of his market. So it was, let's say, quite easy. And in Spain, there was not like huge amount of people, collecting Pau Gasol, so it was quite easy to find in this European, the German forum, in the French forum, and then after obviously on Facebook to find cards from Pau Gasol. And I started on those years my small collection of Pau Gasol that obviously it, let's say, exploded recently, not that from those years.
Okay, so you were buying cards like through the mail, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, it was quite nice, and even I still do, just like connecting with people all around. I mean, with the US, obviously we use US vaults, to send us our cards. But if within Europe, I still change cards by mail with people, just connecting in forums now, Facebook or Instagram, just getting on mail, and quite, let's say, confident. And I like that. Obviously in person it's completely different way of trading, or buying or selling, because the contact with the guys, it's completely different. But mailing, I think it's still working quite, I mean, quite frequently here. So it's even in Spain as well. We have like a big background of Panini stickers, of football. So in the end, or soccer for our US friends. So in the end, I think that's part of our culture and how we trade as well, or flea markets, or by mail, or these small communities that normally we have here in Bilbao. Is super super nice to see, because you can see like dads with the small kids, meeting every Sunday in the old town square, and there is like a small corner of people just trading, or buying. So it's super nice as well to see that part. It's mainly basketball, football, sorry,
Yeah.
soccer. So it's nothing that normally I go, but I remember perfectly when I was a kid, going with my dad. And I guess back on those days it started, this feeling and this hobby to collect. Obviously starting with soccer stickers of Panini, and then after moving, when I found, the way of the trading cards were done in the US, obviously say, oh wow, this is like a huge quality comparing to the small stickers, that we collect here in Spain. So I think that was the time when everything broke to start collecting trading cards as well.
So you kind of started through like the
Probably
culture.
yes. I mean, yeah. If we could be honest, like totally honest, when I was like a kid, like
Yeah.
collecting soccer stickers that were super common. I mean, everyone in the school, you went with your repeated ones to change it with the others, so it was quite, let's say, nice back on those days. So yeah, probably let's say that I started when I was a kid, but mainly when I was like a teenager by myself, like looking for this new product of the trading cards from the US. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the difference with Europe and the US. Let's say, we grew up with cards. You guys grew up with stickers.
Hmm.
And so I mean, you're kind of in that transition, right? You in the 2000s, you're kind of part of
Hmm.
that. And I think it's
Hmm.
still transitioning probably on some level. Um,
Yeah, because even the collections here in Spain, I mean, Panini made, because at the beginning it was, as you said, like small stickers, like even now are quite high value, because I mean to found them on really good sale, it's pretty difficult, But nowadays you can find Mega Crash, Adrenaline. There are some different collections that obviously are coming from the culture of the trading cards from the US. So obviously when Panini got the license, they create and they made these kind of collections. And nowadays, if I mean what I know, because I'm not super onto that market, but adrenaline, the trading cards probably could be the first, collection and the most collectible one here in Spain at least. So in the end, that's like the mix of the culture, from the US that definitely ended up in Europe and somehow conquer the hobby as well in terms of collecting.
So please visit his Pablo's IG page. We're going to get into some of the cards, but there are too many to talk about, literally, and they're all awesome.
Mhm.
But I'm curious your like journey here because you've been collecting PAL for over 20 years. When that 0102 period that you started, let's say,
Mhm.
how did you start? Did you get some numbered
No,
refractors early on, or okay?
no, definitely because as I told you, when I got back home to my parents' home and check all my teenager stuff, I found my collections there from Pau Gasol. When I checked, and obviously after, let's say, all these years, when I got all the knowledge about refractors, these difficult cards to find, there were any, unfortunately, of those. Obviously I didn't have that background, or knowledge of which cards to find. And obviously back on those days when I was collecting, I was getting the ones that I could afford as well, so the cheap ones. But I had like one, I remember the pristine refractor from 24, yeah, from 2004, the pristine one that it's quite curious that has the base pristine has, let's say, lower limited edition comparing to the gold one, but it's normally just the way it's completely different. And I found that on my been there. So it was nice to find that one. But back on those days, I was just collecting base rookie cards from the upper deck collections, anything high end. So now I found a few of the Ultimate collection, and obviously after the exquisite ones. But I'm totally honest that I did not have any high-end, cars back on
Yeah.
those days when I was starting. But yeah, I got all this knowledge as well when I got when I got along again with John, because he's, as you know, completely fan of refractors, So we started deeping on that. Obviously, we had like some knowledge, but I mean, obviously, he has like huge knowledge about the refractor series. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a Wikipedia of the refractors. But I started getting more and more on those, after meeting again with him and checking, the refractors from Power, and most of them, as I said, except one or two that I had from the beginning. All the others that you can find on my profile are from the last, let's say, 6, 7 years ago that I found them. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
was just like mainly doing like jerseys, some autographs, that were not super expensive, inserts, limited ones as well, or just like, yeah, like limited inserts. Probably they were like the most like to found probably
is
back on those days.
is it safe to say you were kind of going for quantity more than quality, or
No, no, no. Just on the last years, let's say quality over quantity. Yeah. I mean, I have quantity because in the end, I started like
yeah?
years and years ago. So I had a lot, but I gave as well to small kids from my basketball team as well, just to trying to get this drug, in the area,
Oh yeah.
just to expand it. But nowadays, I just found like, let's say, quality. I mean, not only quality in terms of the value of the car, as well, how probably nice could be the car or how limited could be, the set that not always goes connected to, let's say, quality in terms of or value, in terms of money.
Yeah.
But
So
nowadays, yeah.
you started, I mean, yeah, your first phase, it was, less focused and more about
hmm
quantity, but now,
hmm
obviously in the last 7 years,
hmm
you've gone there. So when
Yeah.
you got back in I guess 2018 roughly,
hmm
how did you approach PAL?
It it was, I know it was quite uncertain situation as well because I remember, okay, Pau normally was cheap, and obviously on 2018 when with all the career that he made after all, in the NBA and the impact that he had and the connection that he had with Kobe Bryant as well, obviously the market of Pau went completely much more than I was expecting. Okay, obviously now, when I see the progress of my collection and how I could find the cards that in the end I have now in my collection, you can understand as well the impact in, let's say, outside the court as well of Pau, and how he impact as well in the FIBA championship with Spain. So in the end, it's normal that he had, and he has actually as well this value in the market, let's say. And nowadays you can find a lot of people collecting Pau Gasol. Back in the days, I can just remember one or two guys that actually had like a huge collection, even bigger and much more quality than mine from Pau Gasol. Let's say older people that they are not on Instagram, that they started back in the days, they continue on those years where the market was a bit like going down. So I guess that was the time when they got the chance to get those huge cards from Pau Gasol.
Okay. And what was your first, I guess, big one that you got when you got back in?
Big one. That's a really good question. Probably could be like 2003, I would say, Top Scrum Gold Refractor. Probably that was like kind of like, okay, I need to get this card. It's not, I mean, it's value because of the year of Top Scrum, the Gold Refractor one, obviously. So it was not like easy to find, but in the end, I mean, that was probably the main target, I would say, on back on those days, as well as coming back again with John. Okay, we need. I mean, he made like a list of all the refractors from Pau. Okay, I need this. So I was like quite crazy, going, after all those. So probably that was, I guess, the probably the main target back in those days. I would say, yeah, have it here.
And that's the 2000 Topps Chrome 2003 Gold Refractor. Okay.
Correct.
That's
Probably, I mean, that's it. This one is.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean the picture. I mean, I guess the photography of the top scrums. I mean, it's something that if you like collecting, if you like how the cars back in the days were made with, let's say, real action photographs, it's probably one of the best with all the shape, the shiny. I don't know. For me, it's probably my favorite one. I mean, with pristine as well or finest as well. But the point is that finest opened the market that big, back on those days. So in the end, it was like a bit difficult to identify. Okay, I would like to do this, or these ones, versus the top scrum that you could find the gold refractor, the base, some of the years black ones, X fractors. But normally it continues kind of like a sets, like all the time base, refractor, X fractor, gold was the normal ones. White were included in some years as well. It's as well super nice one.
Hmm.
I think it
Hmm.
was like the 20. I think it was there was a white refractor one on 22. So yeah, probably those. I mean, that car was my main car to find out on those days when I was back.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And well, John is dangerous.
He's super dangerous.
You
Better
know,
not to mix with him and to pass time with him
yeah.
talking about cars.
Literally in the last 2 days, he got me. Now I'm collecting 2001 Black Refractors, apparently.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because he sends me this. At first he sends me this Doug Christie PSA 7,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, but it's a little expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 days ago he sends me the Turkoglu, uh,
Okay. Well,
same one,
that's a
and
rookie car as well, right? Is it a rookie
no,
car? No?
no,
Okay.
that's second year.
Okay.
But so it's the same seller, so I just kind of found him on eBay on IG, and now I
Okay.
have two of the Kings cards. 'Cause I like to collect the Kings. I have the
I
O2
saw.
to O4, all the Kings players in Gold Refractor or Black Refractor for O2.
Okay. Okay.
So now, and there's a page ending tonight on eBay, so I'm gonna hammer
That's
that hard.
expensive
So
one. That's expensive one. I
yeah.
mean, that's it. I mean, that's it. Probably that was a topic, to discuss later on. Probably that's it. I mean, talking about Pau, was my grail to found. I mean, after I started with all the refractors, obviously I was like achieving, year by year, all of them, So obviously there was one that was almost impossible to see, almost impossible to afford. Finally, I got it, the rookie car of Pau Gasol, the Black Refractor one. And for me, could be one of my favorite cars because in the end, it was not just to find on eBay, buy, that's all. I had like meetings as same as I'm having with you with Videocam by FaceTime, with the owner that was in the US, like 50 years old guy, more or less, and he was like, because a lot of people from Spain were contacting him, oh, we want this car, I want this car, I want this car. So we were all like kind of like fighting, who would buy it, So I had like these few FaceTime calls with him. Hey, why I need to sell you this car or show me your collection? It was like quite, and nowadays it's kind of like a frenzy that I continue talking to this guy, but was quite like nice the way I got that car. Not was just like buying it, or finding in a show and just paying it. So it was tough because obviously I needed to sell as well big part of my collection. Nice card as well from a Kobe Bryant autograph that I had, to kind of to afford it, this Black
Hmm.
Refractor from Pau Gasol. So it's probably, yeah, I mean the history behind it's nice, that's kind of the nice feeling that you can get when you get into the hobby and you find the car on this way that you can find it, so it's a wonderful add for the collection.
Yeah, I mean this. So it's the 2001 Topps Chrome Black
Hmm.
Refractor out of 50, and this
Hmm.
is this is the first year where they had numbered refractors. He's showing
Hmm.
it off on the screen now. Um,
Hmm.
I've never seen
Let's
one in
see.
person. I will, I guess, in a
Hmm.
few months. But they look
Definitely.
gorgeous.
Yeah, the
These are
signing of the car, it's super nice. I mean, unfortunately, I have the window here, so it's not like giving like the real, let's say, shape of the car. That's super nice, definitely.
and so there are 50 of those. This was the first serial
50.
numbered. And
Correct.
yeah, John mentioned that too, that that card in particular in Spain is highly sought after. And so
People got crazy to find it.
it
And
sounded like you had an interview, is it like an interview with this guy, right?
yeah, it was like an interview to get it,
So
definitely.
what do you think? Why did you get the job, or why did you get the
I
card?
don't know. I don't know. Probably I was quite, I mean, coming from the collection and the passion that I have, for Pau Gasol, I saw this guy. This guy was collecting Pau Gasol before, and probably some others that contacted him wanted just the car. I don't know, just to maybe show off, maybe to flip and to sell
Mhm.
it here in Spain a bit like on higher price, So I don't know. I mean, I did not know exactly the reason, but it was quite, let's say, fast connection between we both, so in my collection, as I said, I guess that he said, okay, he thought that probably this car would stay, in this collection for years and years or forever, I would say probably, So I guess that was the reason why this guy, made the trade, I guess. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I've
I hope
kind
that that's the reason, I
of.
guess.
I mean, I think most people feel that way. I mean, if you're
Hmm.
just I don't I can tell when people just want to get something to flip it.
Hmm.
And it's not, I'd rather go to a collector who really wants it, obviously. Like
That's the point. I mean, if you feel this way of collecting, like trying to find the best home possible for the cars. Obviously, I mean, I totally respect the people that, let's say, invest on cars, they flip. I mean, absolutely respect for that as well, but at least my way, as I started since the when I was a kid with the soccer stickers, and back in the years when I was a teenager with the trading car, was just to build like a collection, with kind of like a reason and with a meaning, I would say. So I see the hobby on that way. So in the end, probably this guy that, as I said, he was like collecting, and he still. I mean, then after he had like plenty of refractors from Bowman refractors, gold refractors from Pau Gasol that I bought him like time ago as well. Then after, I mean, this guy completely broke me. My my budget of the last years. So I guess that was the connection. Between we both that he was like somewhat somehow like cleaning his collection due to I guess money reasons as well, So he said, okay, why not to send these cars to a let's say real Pau Gasol collector. Hmm.
Well put, well put.
Hmm.
So do you want to share a couple more but really you should go to his page and take your time. But
I mean,
Give me like,
Probably
yeah.
something to show that it has been like quite nice to, as I talk about it, could be all the top scrums gold refractors from Pau
Oh,
Gasol.
like
I mean,
his
there is a
goal.
black one because on the 27, there was no gold, so that was the most limited one, 250. But all the others are the ones from Lakers that I got like recently as well, like 2 years ago, the 29, 28, super nice ones. So let's say fully the print. I mean, anyway, I mean, my collection goes to try to get the most refractors possible from Pau Gasol. So in terms of the finest as well, I had all of them. I just found it here. The
Beautiful.
gold one from 22, super nice one as well, to 25 limited. So as well, last year I think I got as well the Black Refractor from the Finest 25 X Fractor Black one to 9.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have it because John has it, this car, because you know that this guy is like as well the master of the photography for the car. So day to day, he said, bring me this car, I'm gonna pair mine with yours to make a nice post of the cars, So he had this car, the pristine one as well, probably one of the most beautiful ones for me, this 24 gold refractor. As I said, quite curious about this set because the gold refractor is higher limited comparing to the base refractor. That normally the base refractor or it's not limited or the limitation is like higher than the gold refractor. This is to 27 and the base one is to 25. So it's pretty nice to. So I'm probably that's, let's say, the main cards that I have in my collection. Let's say from refractor that's talking, like all the finest, pristine. I had this recently that I wanna as well show you, quite different one, rainbow upper deck
Flight
flight
team.
team. Yeah,
Okay.
this
Hmm.
set is not limited, okay. But if we go, I would make a post probably this weekend or the week after. If we go to card channel account where you can get like huge information about some sets, you can find this set that it's pretty uh, difficult to find because this rainbow, the red one, it goes for one every I think 1,500 packs. Okay, and there are like 30, 25 players in the set. Okay, so in the end, the limitation to find the rainbow one, the red one, it's super difficult, and as well, it's from the 24 year, quite like first years of Pau Gasol in Memphis. So super nice. And as well, there was like a card that I wanted to find, and when I got the chance, I was no doubt of getting it.
That's okay. I don't know about that one, so that's
I would share with you later the
okay.
post of Card Channel just to get some information. I mean, yeah, also the photography, it's nice. Like most of them doing like dunks. Okay, Kobe Bryant has it as well with the blue jersey of Lakers. So it's super nice setup. I mean, one of those that maybe are not that, let's say, trendy, and it's nice as well to a nice addition as well to the collection.
I mean, it seems like you g came to Pau because kind of timing,
Hmm.
you were in Dirk and then you kind of Pau was there, but just from an American asking, like,
Hmm.
how did you choose? I mean, was Mark ever a consideration, or and is there a is
I
there
mean,
a
at the
fan
beginning,
base there? How does that in Spain work?
when I get back, on these late 20s to start collecting again, I was trying with all the Panini sets, all flawless, everything that I found, super nice cards as well. I started like trying to get everything as well from Ricky Rubio, Calderon, Mar, was like, okay, let's get more and more and more, Obviously, then I sold most of them, I would say most, or if not all, But the point was that I don't know. For me, Pau was on the very first. I mean, I had like a top scrum rookie card as well from Marc Gasol, just somehow to follow, the way of the refractors, on the 20. I think it was 29. No, it was 28. Was the
Okay.
rookie card gold refractor from Mark, and I got that as well. But then following on, let's say somehow the way of I was collecting with all the refractors to trying to find. Mark has not many of them, It was like on the 28. I don't know if he has something on 29. I need to check. So in the end, I say, okay, I mean, Mark obviously exploded after all, but I mean, I wanted just to focus on Pau. Just had like one, two autographs from Mark and Ricky Rubio just to somehow hold the small collection of autographs from Spanish, let's say, legends as Ricky Rubio, Juan Carlos Navarro, Marc Gasol, but not more, let's say, going far on my collection with Mark.
Um, yeah, I've noticed. I mean, I collect. I was telling you this beforehand, but I collect kind of some
Hmm.
more modern. I like
Hmm.
flags, So
Hmm.
this is 2019.
Hmm.
This is 2013, but that's
Super nice ones.
the
That
different.
one, last
But
one.
these kinds of Panini flag
Hmm.
cards, when they
Hmm.
took over the license, they
Hmm.
started doing these
Hmm.
things. But I've noticed that, for instance, in these International Treasures series, there's only a
Hmm.
card for Mark, as far as I can
Hmm.
tell.
Yeah,
And I guess the answer is just kind of the timing. I mean, Mark winning his title when he did.
probably the good years from Toronto Raptors. I think when he got there, I guess that, I mean, that's why I think on those national treasures, flawless years when Toronto was, let's say, on top list of potential, champions for the NBA. I guess, and he was quite like a key as well on that team, with Kawhi
Yeah.
Leonard and the others. I mean, I think he got like a huge showing and action in each of the games of that playoff, and he was. I mean, I think on one of the years, I think he was like defensive player as well of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So in the end, I think he got like a really good performance, on those years. So probably, and those years were when Pau was already out from the league, or last years in San Antonio Spurs, that small transition in Milwaukee Bucks as well that anybody could understand. So probably, Mark was obviously on his, let's say, best years, I would say, in terms of basketball.
Okay. Yeah. So that I mean, it is kind of a generational,
Yeah.
preference, I guess.
Timing. Yeah, as you said.
Timing and so in terms of well, I kind of timely in the sense that you have a side PC.
Hmm.
Um, in Luka Doncic, and I think it's kind of funny that, of course, he just got traded to the Lakers, and Pau,
Big,
what,
big
15
drama.
years ago had also got kind of traded to the Lakers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you remember that? And what are your what are your feelings about all this? You must like the Lakers on some level. You root for them.
I mean, it's weird because as I told you at the beginning, I started with Dirk Nowitski, so I was following Dallas Mavericks from the really, really beginning, and then when Dirk, let's say, was retiring, they draft Luka, so I said, perfect, I can continue being fan of Dallas Mavericks. So it was like quite drama. I mean, obviously, when you saw that Luka went to Lakers, you say, okay, I mean, this guy it's on the place probably to get a championship, I would say as well. I mean, even he did like a huge performance, on Mavericks going to the finals and getting into the conference finals before. But the point is that on Lakers with LeBron, you never know what could happen. We saw on the bubble year when Lakers won that championship that anybody was expecting as well. So I guess that he's on the place to be. But in terms of kind of like a fan of Mavericks connected to Luka, it was like, I mean, I guess anyone could understand, why Nick Harrison did that trade. Probably he has his reason. He explained, and okay, you need to trust that. But it for me it was completely understandable. Okay, obviously the save and probably the situation of Luka is not the best. I mean, I guess like physically he needs to improve significantly to be, I guess, on again back, on that level that he could be and he might be, I guess. But it was I don't know, weird to see him, on being traded to Lakers because, as I said, as Mavericks fan now, it's like, okay, I have Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis that is all the time like injury, so not really nice to watch the games of Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best comments I liked after the trade was Ryan Russillo's like, well, yeah, I mean, Luka could be smoking cigarettes and weigh 250 pounds, but he'll still be the best guy with the
Yeah,
ball in the leagues.
correct,
Uh,
correct. But I think he went way far, I would say. if I'm like honest on terms of like physical shape, to
Yeah.
play like because in the end and as well the attitude probably now close to LeBron will change with the referees on the Mavericks was like as well like a nightmare. He was like constantly complaining, bad mood in most of the games. So probably now he can get at least part of the culture that LeBron has. Obviously not that strict because that's like alien. He's from different planet. This guy. But if he gets something, just a bit from that, I think he can grow up and get, I would say, on his best say possible.
Yeah, I agree. I like that point, and I think too. Just I mean, he has just played so much basketball in his life,
Hmm.
and with you count the international games, and last year deep, obviously very deep
Hmm.
playoff run.
Hmm.
So it's like a nice break for him or something to play with
I mean,
LeBron and kind of
mhm.
a little bit of a load off.
Exactly the same comparison as you said with Pau, partner, getting as a partner with Kobe, all that mentality that Kobe had and changed completely to Pau, elevate to the next level on because those years when Pau was in Lakers, I mean, even in the Lakers, even in the national team, I mean, probably he was, I would say, probably the best non-American player in the world. I would say even probably above Dirk Nowitski on those years. Obviously the team compared, let's say, Spain versus Germany was, but all these games as well against France, with Tony Parker on his prime as well, with Rudy Gobert starting. I mean, Pau was in a different level, I would say, and I guess just because of that mentality change, of from Kobe, and probably it's quite, let's say, romantic to talk about this Mamba mentality and everything, but somehow I mean, it got his first, I mean, his best year. So somehow should be something connected to that.
I hadn't put that connection together, that
Hmm.
analogy of that him
Hmm.
going to play with Kobe. That's
Hmm.
so you have those things going on, and then I mean I remember some controversy about Pau getting traded to the Lakers in the same sense
Yeah,
because they didn't talk to anybody else. They just talked to
yeah.
the Lakers and traded
Hmm.
him, right?
There was quite controversial as well because also they gave, it was funny because in that trade it went the rights of Marc Gasol that went to Memphis. That's why in the end Mark started in Memphis, So it was controversial because they did not, let's say, gave like a huge players, to the Lakers. It was quite like a random trade, completely unexpected. Same as you said, in this case with Anthony Davis, that they did not, or with Luka, involved, but they did not talk to any other teams. It was just between them. When normally, it's like a kind of open market. Okay, I'm trading this player. Let's get the best bid possible, But it was controversial. I mean, let's see if he gets the same
Yeah,
result, or who
I mean
knows.
I mean I'm a Kings fan, so I hate the Lakers, but now it's weird rooting for them.
I could imagine. I could
Um,
imagine.
yeah, and but it's just funny, guys, that and gals that the Lakers are always the ones involved in these trades that where teams just don't even talk to other teams, and it's out of
Hmm.
nowhere, and
Hmm.
superstars are
Hmm.
traded. I just have to point out that I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist.
Uh,
Just
I
funny
mean,
how that happens.
I guess it enters probably right from agents, teams, general managers. I think it's
Yeah.
completely connected to that. But yeah, somehow it's always happening with Lakers. Let's leave it
Somehow.
there.
Yeah,
Let's leave
the
it
the
there.
most popular franchise, most marketable
Hmm.
franchise,
Hmm.
huge city.
Correct.
No, yeah, okay,
Correct.
all right. Good
What
we
can
good
we
we
do?
asked those questions. And
Hmm.
Luca, you have do you have a card you like of Luca?
I mean, probably the one I like most, and probably is, I mean, it's well value, and people are after his first, let's say, trading card with, let's say, license, Real Madrid before jumping to the NBA, EuroLeague collection that was published in 2016. So for me, probably could be the most special one because even it was the first one, before any kind of um, US market, all these prisons or some other ones. So for me, it was quite funny because I found it in a flea market here in Spain, in Madrid. I paid like, if I'm honest, like 50 euro when probably these cars at the beginning was nothing, was like nuts probably, or people were not giving value, but the guy was like, oh, this guy will be good. This will get some good value to the car. Say, okay. I mean, anyway, I was in love, with the car, so I paid with no excuses and not even making any kind of counter offer, But the point is that I found that car, as I said before, he went to the NBA. So for me, kind of could be like the true rookie car from him, with license. Obviously not in the US that they had a different meaning to the rookie cars, when he should be in the NBA team. But it's nice, to see Luka on really 16 years old playing in Real Madrid, EuroLeague, being the MVP. They won the EuroLeague that year. I mean, I guess that was the beginning of the history and the background that he has actually. But
Uh,
probably that's the most special one. I mean, then after I had like maybe the base Prism, Ruby One, rookie car, Mosaic rookie car, but not like anything huge. It's my side PC, but honestly, not affordable nowadays. And even now, even worse. With the trade to the Lakers, I was like with a friend close to get one of his autograph rookie card, not for me, for my friend the night before the trade, and the price was okay. And the friend was like, no, this is too expensive. I said, like, man, it's cheap to be like optic rookie car, auto car from Luca. And then after, obviously, when I went back on the morning after, to this guy, yeah, is it still available? No. So that was funny situation. Obviously it was not for me, but it was like funny situation behind it. I was like to my friend, you see, you should pay it yesterday with no excuses. But yeah.
yeah, I threw this up on the screen earlier. So we're Card Brothers with this 2016 Upper Deck.
Super nice.
It,
There,
it,
there is a nice situation behind these cars because there is a rainbow pattern. I mean, there are some, weird cards. I mean, behind this because I remember that I checked with a friend about how to get this patterned rainbow card. I think you needed to send to Upper Deck like kind of like a codes on the boxes, and they send you a different version of this car. So that's why there is like a big different pricing, and value on that car. But either way, super nice. Unfortunately, with Hernan Gomez on the back of the picture, on that
uh,
side,
yeah,
that nowadays is just like living life in Barcelona, not playing anything. But nice to see both of them there.
very cool, very cool. So I haven't prepared you for this question, but 2 weeks ago we had on the show Chris Hoge,
Hmm.
and we were talking about kind of player collecting and kind of collecting in general and why people are so kind of confident about their cards and what they're doing. And his analogy for it is that, card collecting is kind of a way for us to be kind of the kings of our castle. Uh,
Hmm.
there's another stacking slabs. I don't know if you follow or listen to that at all,
Hmm.
but Brett talks about being the CEO of your collection. Um, you know, I guess I should say I'm the sultan of my palace, but I've been reading Brothers Karamazov. I just finished it, first time
Hmm.
reading it, and
Hmm.
I think I'm the Zosima of my monastery. For those who
Okay.
know the book, I mean, it's like this monk who's just like a
Hmm.
superstar. Uh,
Okay.
what? How do you think of your collection? I mean, you're a king of Pau collecting. Are you a CEO? Are you? How do you like what? You don't have to necessarily
It's
come
it,
up with a.
it's difficult, to find like how to establish my role in my own collection. I don't know. I mean, it's just like passion. Probably CEO would be one of it's a good approach, because nowadays you need maybe before when obviously the market was way, let's say, lower and was way easier to move cars around. It was more like this passion and for the hobby. Nowadays you need to as well sometimes check prices. Before maybe it was like, okay, it's in the range, in the average, okay, I get it. Now you need to see because as we discussed, I mean, you can find like a huge flip in the market as well with people, or just I don't know. I mean, not with Pau Gasol, but if you check the rookie cards with the rookie cards from the rookie players now, you can check one guy that did like a huge performance that night, and then the day after that car goes to double value of the car. So you cannot find any sense on that. So that's why probably. part of CEO, king of your collection, like a mix of the king empowering your collection plus the CEO knowledge, on how the market could move, could be like the right, I guess, like naming convention for my collection, I would say.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
have to manage it. I mean, for sure.
How to deal with people as well, how to,
Yeah.
I don't know, with this, I mean, probably with the cars value normally that I try to get, it's not like, okay, like pennies or like $5 cars that, okay, you can get it and that's fine, If you are trying to deal with somebody that is asking you for counter offer, how do you value this car? Give me your value. You need part of CEO skills as well, to try to get an agreement on both sides
Yeah,
and not to get a scam, definitely.
you got to be get a good negotiator, lawyer, and
Correct.
all the
Correct.
skills, right? I like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna see you, I think, in Dusseldorf in
Hmm.
early July, right? You guys are,
I hope that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we started like a few years ago with our friend from permit me to search his name of the shop, Tempristine. Okay, he opened online shop before, and now he's opening on site here in Bilbao, where you can find probably all the kind of supplies that you can find for the collection, from binders, magnetics, all the brands from each sleeve, magnetics, as I said, binder, everything that you can find for your supplies, you can get it there, 10 So we started with this friend of John and myself, going to different shows. Obviously he was starting in the business, so he needed to somehow show his product, in the show. So we went to Düsseldorf, Madrid, Valencia, Paris as well. We went to, I mean, he went twice. I went last year with him, first time in Paris as well, car show. So yeah, I mean, most probably we'll see each other in Düsseldorf. I mean, let's see how that goes, because probably it's like the biggest show in Europe, I would say, with London. Most probably, in terms of amount of people, quality of cars that you can find there, all the school collectors as well, nowadays collectors as well that are in the hobby. So really excited to go there again.
yeah. I mean, every European collector I know is going or wants to go.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, this 10 Pristine, I learned about your company, your friend's company too.
Hmm.
And for instance, I want a Zion case. I've just kind of felt like I needed one just because my slabs
Hmm.
are just stacked up in places, and
Hmm.
um, otherwise I have to bring one back from the States. So
Hmm.
I plan to get one at the show.
Okay,
Yeah. So other people, I mean, it's not just going to be cards there. There can be other, supplies and stuff like that. They have a great
definitely.
online shop too.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so the show, I mean, you said great cards. John, I think, said more modern. I think that's to
Yeah,
be
mostly it's
expected.
modern. Yeah,
Okay.
between us, probably unfortunately, we could not find like many of the cars that we normally collect. Let's say from back in the days, from 20s. But yeah, I mean, mostly it's modern product. Yeah, from Panini, like Flawless, National Treasures, Prisms. I mean, everything that you can imagine. Obviously, the overproduction from last years, made like the risk, I mean, made completely reasonable. That you will find much more product from that from these years comparing to the others. So anything you can imagine from Nora's product, you will find it there definitely.
And
It's nice as well, when you go to these binders from some people that you find there, and you can identify some old school cars. You get like completely in love, and you stay there for even half an hour just checking page by page from the binders, when you see like
yeah.
refractors, the legacies of cases. I mean, you could imagine, credentials as well from the 20s. I mean, when you find something like that, that's the, at least for, let's say, us, that we are collecting that kind of product. I would say that that's the place to stay, like half an hour talking to the guy as well. It's quite nice as well to get with those old school people, collectors.
Good advice. That's helpful. That
Hmm.
this really is
Hmm.
my first big show, so I'm kind
Hmm.
of like, how do trade nights work? I mean, I hear people talk about them, but I don't know.
It's I mean, I don't know, it's quite particular as well, because obviously, as connected to the situation that we said that the product that you will see most would be the modern product. Okay, you will see like huge collections, trade case of people, with new product. Okay, you can find as well some old school stuff. Not much, I would say. I mean, who knows? Probably we'll go next time and you can find many others. But it's nice because I mean, it's normally it's this kind of open spaces with a lot of tables. You just sit on yours. Probably people take out his cards, or just the other way around. You move from table to table to see if something times your eyes, and you say, okay, let's try to make some deals here. Okay. I mean, something that I would like to say as well is that you need to be a bit tough with the people dealing, okay, because in the shows, I guess it's normal as well because you avoid tippings or bringing cards from the US, prices are, let's say, a bit higher than the market value, okay? So what I miss something on the shows is people making offers. Okay, I can have, let's say, this car on $200, okay? But if the cars, we both know that the car is like 150, okay, make me an offer on 170, 160, 140, but try to make some counter offers. That's something that I really miss. That people just asking for the price. Oh, this is almost a bit expensive, and they go and say, okay. I mean, I'm here to deal. I mean, it's not like we are in the museum, like showing case, my cars. If I'm here to move the cars, it's because I want to move the cars. So I would say that to be a bit, let's say, tough with the people, try to insist them. Okay, do you want to move? What are you looking for? Do you want cash? So just to be quite open minded because even the mix of cultures in this particular case in Germany makes like different way of dealing people that are more holding his cards, maybe not moving that much on the value, some others that you can find like moving much more because they work on or they invest on cars and they just want to flip and move cars
Hmm.
constantly. But it's super nice because in the end these shows, are the way to connect with people. I got some super nice cards from Pau Gasol from people that I met in that particular show. Okay, some really old school gold black diamond autograph from second year from Pau Gasol that I would never know that about that car, and I never seen that car before. Just limited to 10, and I found the guy that told me, hey, I just asked him, what do you call it? Pau Gasol. Okay, I do not have this card here, but give me your IG and we can connect then after. And we did a trade. So super nice to meet people from mainly here in this case all over Europe. But I guess that on the last show in it was Frankfurt, I guess, yeah, Frankfurt that John was. There were people as well coming from the US. They saw that there is like a huge market as well in Europe. So it's growing up as well. Like people from the US coming to these big shows as London as well has like a lot of American people coming to check the cars there. So definitely the spot to be on that
Very good.
weekend.
Very good. Well,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
co-host Will and another, we'll call him friend of the channel, Berk. We're
Okay,
all, we have our tickets.
okay.
So the Turks are coming.
Nice, nice, nice. We'll see each other there definitely. Some
Yeah,
beers, cards around. Probably the best plan
uh,
for us, actually.
perfect. Nothing better for me. Well, Pablo, thank you
Absolutely agree.
so much for coming
Thank you,
on.
John, for the
Uh,
time.
really enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you this summer, if not sooner.
Definitely.
And
I hope that. Let's see if the kid gives me the permission to go and doesn't create any issues, on those days. But definitely looking forward to meet you in person. As I said, to have some beers, cars around, to show our cars, and just to talk about cars. That probably is one of our hobbies to talk 24/7, I would say.
yeah, we could keep going. This is in the middle of the day, so you probably need to get back to your work or your son. So,
I
well,
do to both, so quite on that.
thanks again, man. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, man. Take care.